I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 11, and after that we were basically on every pharmaceutical out there available for Crohn's disease.
I knew I was killing him with a pharmaceutical, with something that the doctor said, this is gonna help, and it didn't. We had to do something to save his life, and cannabis was it. Cannabis saved his life.
Cannabis can help the inflammation from Crohn's disease in a way that patients will just tell you it's a miracle.
My son was in a wheelchair, the month before, and now he's chasing after me.
Cannabis should be legal not because people want it to be, because people need it to be.
Sports world, the physical body is your moneymaker, so staying healthy is a priority. And unfortunately, a lot of the traditional protocols when it comes to recovery and sleeping and that whole bit has been fundamentally it's been pharmaceuticals. And we've discovered obviously that there's a better alternative out there for these things, and the recovery process is managing inflammation, pain, anxiety, and sleep. And if you do those things unsustainably over time, performance drops, you're fatigued, the focus, mental clarity drops, and ultimately, you can lose your job. And so it's about staying healthy. It's about being proactive and finding sustainable ways to manage these things. And I think cannabis and non-psychoactive cannabinoids help do that.
Nothing that pharma did for me that was helpful. I'm recovering today from things that those medicines did to me. I mean, today my hair's not falling out. I have great balance. I was told I would never be able to jog, walk, shop, do any of that. And I walk my dogs, I work, all because of cannabis. And the funny thing is I thought I have pain 24/7, but with cannabis, not only am I functioning, it keeps the pain in the back. I can actually have a conversation with people and not stutter and stumble my words because the pain has just overtaken every part of me.
I wanted to share a quick video about my dad. By the time my dad was my age, about 48 years old, he never worked another day in his life. That's because he was in 2 crippling car accidents and was left with something called chronic regional pain syndrome. To manage it, he went down the route of opiates, which got him a ton of side effects and not as much relief as he needed. Thankfully, in 2015, he found a cannabis doctor. And through a series of tinctures with things like CBD and CBG, and using flower for more immediate relief, he was able to get off that 1,000 milligrams of Oxycontin a day and just use cannabis as his primary pain management tool. And with that, I saw his whole life change. Saw his energy increase. I saw him be happier, and I felt like I got my dad back. I think it's so important to share this time of year. We're at a time with regulatory reform changing. We're having a lot of conversations about medical cannabis. And we're asking the question, is cannabis medicine? And I'm here to say in my life, I've seen it 100% be medicinal. And I've seen those changes right before my eyes with my very own dad, going from 1,000 milligrams of Oxycontin to 0 by using cannabis.
I really had many moments where cannabis truly has impacted my life and changed my perspective on plant medicine. But one particular moment was only a few months into my cannabis journey for my health treatment. My parents had yet to accept this situation. They had not accepted the fact that I was choosing to use cannabis and get away from the 20 plus pharmaceutical medications that I had to take on a daily basis. But this particular day I was wheelchair bound. I was 92 pounds only, and all of the symptoms for all my chronic illnesses were flaring up on this day. But we had a family event that I needed to get to, and I wasn't going to let my health stop me. So I decided to scarily, in front of my parents, use my tincture and a vape pen. And through the tears, through the screaming and the pain, after I used the cannabis, my parents, they saw the life come back to me. They saw me go from white as a ghost to color in my face again. They saw me wanting to go home and be defeated to wanting to go for the rest of the night and enjoy my family. And I was able to. And that night truly changed myself as well as my family in my health journey with cannabis and choosing it for my main treatment. I now have gotten off of all 20 plus pharmaceutical medications. And my parents are now advocates within their church community, within their retirement community. And it has just made an extreme impact on our family as a whole. And everyone in my family now will truly say, especially because of that moment, cannabis definitely saved my life.
Hi, I'm Queenie. I'm a patient, content creator, cannabis educator, endometriosis advocate, and canna mom. And my work exists because my life depends on it. I spent years being told that my pain was normal, that it was just bad cramps, painful periods, stress, and even me being overweight. I was told that I needed to learn how to live with this pain and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like many people with endometriosis, I wasn't taken seriously until my body was in crisis. Even after a hysterectomy, I didn't find the relief that I was promised. And that's really one of the biggest misconceptions with endometriosis, that surgery alone fixes everything. For me, it didn't, with still no relief, and still no relief, and a huge disconnection from myself and my family. All of those pain medications left me non-functional. What ultimately changed my life was education, self-advocacy, and the plant, especially in its concentrated form. I'm very intentional when I talk about this. I'm not here to make medical claims. This is about my lived experience. Dabbing didn't cure my endometriosis, but it helps me manage it and keeps me functional. It helped me reduce my reliance on medications that were not working for me and allowed me to feel present in my life again. Today, my work focuses on education, storytelling, and advocacy, especially for people who feel invisible and dismissed by the healthcare system.
The plant was created because I sustained a life-changing traumatic brain injury back in 2016. When that happened, my entire world collapsed in just a second. I was working as a pediatric nurse. A child didn't want a vaccine. He became combative. And just like that, he hit me in the head. I was pushed back into a wall and then back into his head. My life changed forever in a second. Cannabis was never offered as a treatment. It was never offered as a therapy. I was on over 50 different drugs at different times. I saw over 60 different providers. No one could explain why I was feeling like I was. I was hurt at work, so it was a New York State workers' compensation system. So that means that all they care about is getting you back to work. They don't care about the patient. They don't care about that experience. And for myself, being a patient, I didn't understand what it really meant to be a patient. I didn't understand that it meant you had to really know more about the patient than the provider does almost. You need to know more about your condition and be your own advocate, because at the end of the day, that doctor spends 5 minutes with you. And how can he possibly understand what your day-to-day life is like? Cannabis saved my life.
I've been an end user of medical cannabis for some time now. I was led to some harmful narcotics. Don't need to label the names. But after a limb loss, 2003, losing my hand, trans radial, I was able to not take the prescribed recommended narcotics from the treating physicians. Because what happened after taking those to address and combat my limb loss, I had some body issues and post-traumatic stress, etc. They actually made me feel worse. They deepened my depression. They led to suicidal thoughts and my incognitive ability to really maintain a healthy lifestyle. And the quality of life, at least I've seen it prior to losing a limb. And I noticed that outside the limb loss, I didn't want to lose more. I felt I was losing more from prescribed treatments. So back in 2003, I consulted, wherever I had to, and I found cannabis, and I utilized this to help me navigate through the education, got back my bachelor's degree, etc. And I noticed it wasn't causing any harm to me, wasn't causing any harm to my family or those around me. But those same pharmaceutical prescriptions soon put a couple of my friends in the ground, almost buried myself. I was watching the negativities of this. I since entered the prosthetic orthotic space over the last 10 years, and I've been helping my fellow amputees find limbs and new technology. And with that, I couldn't share with them what I utilized to combat my limb loss because of working for the corporations and only there to represent the technology. But what I saw was all these amputees were also led in the same direction I was led, and for 10 years, it impacted their ability to actually utilize these really nice high-tech hands that take time to get authorized and approved through insurance companies and carriers and give you a better quality. Look, they couldn't navigate these prostheses because of the cognitive incapacity with certain pharmaceuticals, and the pain meds just left them unable to achieve that optimal efficiency. So after 10 years, it's been about 8 months now. I've since pursuing the passion of cannabis. I'm seeing it out here talked about, and this is no better place to do it than here. I've been able to take place in a lot of scientific symposiums, share my story as well. Just doing some fact finding. I think knowing from the medical industry, what we're doing now is just going to quantifiably qualify what we've been using to combat all of our issues.
I'm Thunder Walker with the Thunder Walker Experience and Pressure News Media. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This has been an amazing time and conversation about everything that's going on in the cannabis ecosystem. Whether you understand legacy to legal or hemp to the cannabis plant, there's been so many changes. And what I like most about it is that there's conversations at all different levels. That's something to be really, really excited about. So as we move forward, being a caregiver and also being a patient and a business owner, I have so many balls in the fire to make sure that this is a win for everybody. You know, my daughter uses cannabis because she actually has a disability. And I've seen so many wonderful things for her wellness journey. I think it's important for us to have those conversations without worrying about the stigma. So as we move into the holiday season, while we're spending time with friends and family, never be afraid to talk about this conversation openly. You know, 2026 has a lot of gifts up under the tree for us, and all we need to do is be able to share our stories. I'm Thunder Walker with the Thunder Walker Experience and Pressure News Media, and we are about to push in to make sure that this product and this plant is available where it's needed.